Guys, it's Courtney,
And I'm Jeff.
and it's fun to be a part of the training that Chelsea is doing with you guys. So, Chelsea asked us to share a little bit about church planting and discipleship, and reproducing disciples. And so, we were in Cambodia for 21 years, and our last location was in Kakong, which was a city that bordered Thailand. We were only about a mile or two from the Thai border, but it was right on the ocean. And so we were there for about 10 years, and the Lord was doing some amazing things there amongst the people and drawing them. And so we felt like we had a really fruitful ministry while we were there. And Jeff, why don't you tell us a little bit about what discipleship, reproducing disciples look like for us in Kakong?
We had a number of different philosophies of ministry in during our time in Cambodia, and where we ended up. I think our final approach to church planting was a process that was very discipleship oriented. We wanted to start our churches from the very beginning with Cambodian local leaders. So the discipleship program that we went through was lengthier than in previous times where we did church planting. So this last time in Kakong, we would have intentional discipleship with a new believer, and it was usually Cambodians would be first generation Christians, so they were brand new believers, usually the only believers in their family, and we would have them go through a discipleship process with us, and it mainly looked like. Well, in the beginning, there was some curriculum like firm foundations that we would go through, but we focused quickly on more on the job training type of discipleship, where we did street evangelism, where we would go out with our disciple and have spiritual conversations with people in the village. And it became a regular thing. Every Fridays we would go out and share the gospel with people, try to start spiritual conversations. And sometimes it would be sharing the gospel in part, sometimes it would be just sharing a Bible story. But the idea was that we were looking at multiplication from the very beginning. So even before the church was brought together around our disciple, we were looking at multiplication being part of the philosophy of the church. So yeah, we would go out every Friday. We would have a discipleship time where I would go out with a disciple. We would do street evangelism, and then once we had a couple believers going with us, there would be teams of like 2 teams or 3 teams that would go out, and then we would all kind of come back at the end, and we would report and have a time of sharing of what we experienced during that afternoon. So yeah, we did that for a while, and then we started the church around the the local leaders that were already skilled at evangelism. And after that, it just kind of became very organic, where those people just naturally became the leaders of the church because they were the most experienced Christians among the group of emerging Christians. So yeah, I think the main principle was that we started our churches around local leaders from the very beginning, and we incorporated evangelism with our discipleship program, and it was on the job out in the field.
And from the get go, our goal was to see reproducing disciples with them. And so demonstrating what it looked like to do evangelism, to do teaching, to share your faith with somebody, having them along. And then it also gave us a lot of insight when we would hear them then kind of take the lead and try to share with somebody and hear what they had to say, because they're going to have a better depth of understanding of cultural impact and the things that are going to grab people better than we will. I mean, we were fluent in the language, but it wasn't our heart language. And so when they would share, we would learn a lot from what, one, their understanding was of the gospel, but two, also different ways and techniques of sharing the gospel and different things that they should be highlighting when they're sharing the gospel. And so it was during those times afterwards when we got together and debriefed that we would, learn and grow all together about what that would look like.
Yeah. And we were also part of a ministry team, and so there were other missionaries that were in and out of the Kakong church planting situation, and they would contribute to what we had going on, so we weren't alone in all of this.
And I would have to say that I think one thing we didn't mention was that before even all of this started, prayer was a really big part of what we did. Before we did anything, actually, was just praying that we would have eyes that were sensitive to where the Lord was working and where he was moving.
Yeah.
And praying with our disciples, praying before we went out, praying after we came together.
Yeah.
And really making that
well, and really the first whole year that we spent in Kakong was focused on prayer and research.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for us, what we found the most effective in making or multiplying disciples was bringing them along from the get-go. That it wasn't like we just did discipleship, at a meeting time on Wednesday nights with our disciples through a book. We just brought them along as we were doing it with us.
Yeah, it was on the job training.
Yeah. So for us, that's what we saw the most effective. I hope that this is something that can encourage you guys and give you some food for thought. And we'd love to hear what you're doing and what the Lord might be showing you, or how it might look a little bit different. And that hopefully what we've had to say is what the Lord was wanting you guys to hear today, and how it goes along with your teaching, Chelsea. So anyhow,
Yeah.
It's great to be a part of this at some point, guys. Have a great meeting. We'll talk soon.
Bye.